Yeah, basically, we're just going back to work. You have to have a short-term memory in this profession when things don't go well. And the message to the kids would be, there's going to be a lot of things in your life that don't go your way. How are you going to respond to it? It's real easy to pull your hoodie over your face and put a towel over your face, and that's what average people do. It's real easy to go ball up into the locker room with the other guys that are upset and complain, and that's what everyone does. And our message is not to do that, because if you want to turn it around, if you want to get what you want out of it, that's the last thing you need to do. So your options are A, do what I just said, or B, grow up, be a man, and move ahead and figure out what we need to do to generate some points and stop them and win a football game.
How much of a priority does that message become? Obviously, you want to go win, but is that kind of your number two objective?
No, winning's number one. I mean, we're in the business of winning, period. So you want to win, but I know if you do what the first thing I was talking about, then you're never going to win. You have no chance, and no one gets anything out of what they want. They get nothing of what they want, and then consequently, 10 years from now, you're going to come back for a reunion, and you're going to look at all your ex-teammates in the eye, and they're going to go, that's the guy that quit that was complaining in the locker room. Or he was all in. He's a foxhole guy. I love that guy. Choices you make in life, they'll last a while, and it's real easy to be a complainer and whatever. But if you want to grow up and learn lessons, it's stare in the eye and forge ahead and figure out what to do to win. What can I do personally to make it better, So that's my message to those guys. And it's not just about what's going on right now. It's like what's going to happen to them the rest of their life with their jobs, How many people that work for someone they don't really like and they have to do it every day? What's your options? That's going to happen. So that's hypothetical. So how you deal with stuff, and that's just the lesson. So obviously we got to win. We got to move the football offensively. We got a lot of work to do this week, and hopefully the message is soaking in, and those guys are like, you know what, let's get in the foxhole together and let's dig in and let's go.
What can you tell us at this point about Zane and his injury?
Zane's probably not going to participate this week. We're still kind of looking at it. We have Sam Jackson, who recently had gotten some reps, who had played quarterback before. Bowen would be another option for us there, who's got a ton of reps. But we need to have our first practice to try to make that determination, and we'll see. And obviously I don't want to give the opponent a 2-day advance on game plan. So we'll see how it goes.
With Noah Walters, obviously he hasn't been here very long. Is he a guy that could help it?
Yeah, he could on down the road. A guy's been here a few weeks. It's kind of hard to think that you want to throw him out there. Banks has been here a while and has got a lot of reps, and we feel confident in that he understands what we want, in the game plan, stuff like that.
Doug, what's it like to kind of have a normal work week this week? Last 2 game weeks have been a lot of news, but now it seems like you just no news coming out. You got just a normal Monday through Saturday.
Is any of this normal? Yeah, it feels good. I was, obviously most of us are up here at 6:30 in the morning, and we've been sitting in there watching tape, studying, discussing, trying to get some plays together, and Clint's been doing the same thing. But that feels normal. We're sitting in there talking amongst ourselves, talking to players, talking to each other. It makes a lot of other stuff kind of disappear a little bit, but because it does feel normal. But I think that a lot of the coaches and a lot of the players probably appreciate the fact that a little bit of some of the stuff's behind us and we can kind of move ahead.
With Sam and Banks, are there common pieces of advice you'll have for both of those guys this week as they get ready for this weekend?
Common what?
Common pieces of advice, like things I guess, what will you be telling those guys as they kind of get ready for this weekend?
Oh, no, it's about, probably, be simple and just know where your eyes should be, know what your checks are, and know how to communicate and the signals and just the normal stuff you'd teach any quarterback. I don't think there's anything special other than, if you try to, you can create anxiety, or you can just treat it as business as usual, You can have paralysis through analysis. And so we're just trying to treat it like it's a 3-foot putt and go knock it in. Let's go.
Doug, I don't know if you want to promote any individuals, but generally in times like this, there are going to be a couple of kids that will stand up and do what you're asking them to do. Say, hey, be a leader in this moment. Noah McKinney said some things on Saturday after the game that, that were along those lines. Have you found a few guys you can lean on within the locker room at this point that you say, hey, that guy is going to be a foxhole guy?
Yeah, I would say him for sure. And I've heard him at practice be vocal at times. And in this day and age, kids, that's not really their thing, Everybody wants to kind of fade in the paint and just kind of not be that guy. But so when someone does become a leader and someone is vocal and they step out, you really appreciate it, and we need all that we can get. But he's definitely a guy that you could say, because I know you heard him do it. I've heard him do it at practice too. So he's a guy.
Doug, you were at TCU when Sam arrived as a quarterback.
Yeah.
What did you guys like about him? We've obviously seen what he can do at receiver, but what did you like about him as a quarterback when he came in?
Well, his high school film was unbelievable. He played receiver his 10th grade year, played quarterback his junior year, and then they had COVID, and they had no school and no athletics his senior year. But he reminded me on tape of Trayvon Boykin. That's what really stuck to me. He's unbelievable release, huge hands, throws a light ball, and he can run, and he's pretty twitched up, and he just kind of reminded me of kind of some of the stuff Trayvon had, and we thought we kind of already have this package that fits a guy like that, so we just took him. And one of our grad assistant coaches went to high school where he came from, Naperville Central, I think, it's in Chicago. But he can make plays when they break down, which, reality of football is about half of them do break down, run game and pass game. It's just guys make plays, and he's a guy who can kind of maybe do some of that when things don't go correct.
Did he come when he transitioned over to play receiver? Was he having conversations? Did he initiate that? Did you guys as coaches?
No, he transferred from TCU to Cal and started at quarterback and then got injured. And then he transferred to Auburn, and I think that's where the transition occurred. So when he went to Auburn. Yeah, so we had film of him playing wideout, which I always thought, if it wasn't quarterback, he could be a corner or a receiver or something, or a turn guy, But it's kind of odd, I know they had a quarterback at TCU, Casey Paul. He had gotten in some trouble or injured or something. Trayvon did the same thing there that Sam potentially is doing now here. So we'll see how it goes. He just, he's that other element that you kind of have to defend. He can kind of take off and make people miss. And he is fast. Yeah.
What was Banks' mentality when you told him he's
It's pretty calm. He's a coach's kid. I don't think he really panicked at all. Seemed calm, and he said, like I said, had 1 million reps, and he has dinner with a coach every night of his life. So, growing up, so I don't think there's a whole lot of panic in him. Pretty even keel, and that's hard to do. When I was 18, there's no way I'd want to go in a football game. I was scared to death, But he handled it pretty good.
Doug, you mentioned that you're going to give Sam more of the playbook now after the game Saturday.
Yeah. Did I said that?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, but is there a balance when you want to keep things simple so make sure you do things well, but also understanding he's got to have more plays?
Yeah, the little package he had, it was pretty condensed and it was kind of specialized, kind of, stuff. Whereas now you're talking about he'll actually hand the ball off and do some normal quarterback stuff. But within that, you try to scheme it to his strengths, you know. And but yeah, he'll have a base package, not just Sam package type stuff, you know.
With Haas's situation, how much is it as a coach to balance when he's actually ready to play versus his want to get out there and play?
Well, it's tough because that kid is super competitive, comes from a super high-level athletic family that expects a lot. And, you know, people always talk about putting pressure on him, like in our workouts or at practice or games. He's had that his whole life with his family. I mean, they expect a lot out of him, and he wants to play. So I think you're looking at him potentially being in the mix the last 4, maybe 5 games, but we'll see. You know, I'm not a doctor, but he wants to play. It's my conversation with him was, Coach, I want to play.
With Sam, what does his practice schedule sort of look like? Is he in meetings with quarterbacks? Is he doing
Yeah, he was meeting. He's probably in there right now, actually. So, you talking about right now?
Yeah, right now and previously.
Yeah, I mean, previously he was just special teams, and he'd go to the wide receiver meeting, and then like the last 2 weeks, he and I met like on the side for like 20, 30 minutes every now and then. But now it's full blown. Coach Johns has him, and they do all their extra quarterback meetings and their film study sessions and their tests and all their stuff. So he's sitting in that room now.
Go ahead, Doug.
Oh, I was just going to say, we talked a lot this year about how much Zane is benefiting from game reps and because he doesn't have that experience before. Would you put Sam in that same bucket with his high school losing that last year and getting hurt? Would you put him in that same kind of, he hasn't played enough, so he's benefiting a lot from just being out there?
Yeah, and he's 22 years old, you know what I mean, where Zane's a little younger, so he's been through a lot, and I don't think he really flinches at any of this type of stuff because he's an older guy, and he's been through a lot. He's been at several different schools, and I just think he appreciates the opportunity to help the football team and go out there and play a position I'm sure he loved and probably liked more than playing receiver, But it'd be interesting to see what he does, when he has the full thing on him.
That kind of led into the question I was going to ask, because obviously this is a guy that if he's going to play football beyond this year, it's going to not be a quarterback, most likely.
Yeah,
But it doesn't seem like there's any hesitation from him at all.
But you'll be able to see his legs and what he can do in open field, and running football and things like that. And he has the ball every snap. So at receiver, you're straining super hard for a maybe. At quarterback, you got the ball. So there's probably a little bit of comfort in that, knowing he has the ball and he can take off, throw, do whatever is asked of him to do. So, but it is funny though, right? You run 6,000 yards of practice for a maybe, and you have no it's not even up to you. So,
What stands out about Houston's defense?
They got a really good D-line, very active. They play super hard. I want to say they have 10 transfers on defense, and I think they have 19 out of their 22 are transfer guys. So they got guys that played a lot of football at other schools, and they've done a good job kind of galvanizing those guys. And I think they're good at what they do. I don't think they try to fool you with a bunch of stuff. And I think they're just solid, and they understand what they're doing, and they're in the right spots, and they play really hard. And I think numerically they're up there in a lot of categories. So,
Doug, you coached at just about every level in your coaching career. Mm-hmm. Willie Fritz is kind of that same type guy. Have you crossed paths? I know he's a little older than you are.
Yeah, I don't really know him. I saw him last year at TCU. I think we played him, and I met him and said hello, and that was it. I don't really know him, but yeah, he's been in the bus leagues like me, He's probably drove a van of O-linemen to Grand Rapids, Michigan a couple of times, just like I've done, and handed out equipment and mowed grass and all the rest of it. So,
Laundry.
huh?
Done laundry, all that.
Laundry, yeah. I was the equipment manager one year. mowed grass. First day on the job, I sodded our practice field. Had ants all over myself. It was awesome. Appreciated my degree a little more. And then my parents are like, "Why are you doing that? You have a degree." So, but yeah, D2, 1AA, JUCO, all of it.
We asked you about what you thought about Clint after the game, but I don't know how much you reviewed film of that side of the ball, but did anything else jump out at you?
Well, I mean, they played a lot of guys that hadn't really played, and they performed pretty well. Had a kid that hadn't played much that had a pick six, and that's good for all those guys. It just felt really good on the sidelines coming from that side of the football. Those guys, I mean, it felt like those guys were playing hard for each other and were having fun, and they were having some success. I mean, was it six sacks? Is that correct?
6 sacks, 11 TFLs.
Well, I mean, when's the last time we had 6 sacks? It's been a minute. I mean, it's pretty good, right? 11 TFLs?
Yeah.
But they did a good job. I think really another thing they did well is they got some 3 and outs, And that quarterback's hard to defend. He can run around pretty good. As you saw, he made some plays with his legs and threw the ball off his back foot with somebody in his face. And
Did you look at the defensive tape at all? I mean, I know you probably don't, but it seemed their success came off broken plays when he just scrambled and the receivers were just looking for some openings.
yeah, they're hitting those digs a lot. With your high-low one with a clear out with a dig. That was kind of their thing. They kept hitting them some of the long yardage situation, and then the quarterback just kind of making some plays. There was never really a time that we were just out of position or misaligned. I think some of their scheme was successful, and they had some receivers that are pretty good. I thought their little line was solid. It appeared to me that they weren't great at running the ball, but I was just in a short amount of time to be able to go out there and manufacture something like that's a minor miracle, and the attitude of those guys on defense is another miracle. I just appreciate what he did, and anybody can go in there and try to put their stamp on it and run all this exotic junk, and that's not what he did. So and that's kind of what we need.
Did anything stand out about the offensive film that wasn't obvious during the game?
No. No, I mean, there were some guys that made some plays. I thought the O-line played solid. I give a lot of the credit to them defensively. I think they're pretty good defense. And their scheme's difficult. But, obviously we got to improve in all areas, particularly the skill. We got to do better with our skill players and put them in better positions, and hopefully we can do that this week. Get it started back up and get it going in the right direction. Have some positive stuff occur.
You always try to get minor wins. How big is first down offense for you, just to not get behind the chains?
Yeah, I mean, 1st and 10 is the most important down there is to me, because if you're outside of the sticks, it's probably 50 to 1 you get a first down. You know what I mean? Or something mathematical that way, but you got to keep it between the sticks to have a chance, because when you're outside of the chains, that's when turnovers occur, sacks, all that kind of stuff. And typically what guys do on second longs, they blitz the crap out of you because they want you to be in 3rd and 10, so that's another reason you don't want to be you want some yards on first downs and not be in 2nd and 10 and get a Hail Mary blitz coming at you. So
You talked about some of the guys kind of stepping up on defense. I don't know how much you saw this or how much you talked to Glenn about this, but Mordecai, really, y'all leaned on him a lot more at safety. How did you think he
led the team in tackles, did he not? I mean, wasn't he the leading tackler? Am I incorrect? Correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Played great, man. Ray, the kid from Red Oak, the safety, hadn't played much. I thought he played well. I mean, there's a lot of guys that stepped up that hadn't done much that played, and good for them. You know what I mean? There's strength in numbers. So you get your moment. The big eye in the sky never lies. You get your opportunity, get in there and make it happen. And some of those guys did that, and that's good. So
does that kind of go back to kind of what you're talking about at the beginning when you're telling the guys, we don't want to just put towels over our head and we don't want to get frustrated? Mm-hmm. Do those guys going out and playing like that, does that kind of speak to what you want?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want. Under adverse conditions, you can still operate. But, I'm not saying you can't feel that, angst of just frustration. We all feel that. It's like, okay, now how do you respond to that? It's my message to them. We're all frustrated. But are you going to walk around with that look on your face? Or are you going to say, you know what, today's a new day. What can I do to slow the game down? What film can I watch? What can I do to encourage my teammates? Can I meet more? Question, what can I do to help fix it? And that's the hard thing to do. That's not human nature. Human nature is to go hide in a room somewhere, because that's what most people do. But if you want to be a success in life, in your job or anything, then you got to do the other, plain and simple. Because that's your options, one or the other. It's one or the other. And hopefully, you're always going to have a handful of guys that just can't help it. But I feel like, by and large, most of them are pretty positive right now, And just look forward to getting back out there Saturday and kind of getting our offense going, because I feel like our defense is going to do a good job.
Doug, do you have to ever remind yourself that you have to be positive too? I mean, that's got to be a tough position. You're in juggling all this, but.
Yeah, I get alone and I'm negative alone. I do that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, you get into conversations with your coworkers and you're trying to prepare and what's next. And, there's times you kind of have to get a 20-second timeout, you know what I mean? But I don't have to remind myself that we got a lot of work to do and to go to work and just be positive and forge ahead. I don't really have to remind myself of that, because there is no option. You have no options. My options is, what can we do to scrape out some more points next week and maintain ball possession and get some first downs? That's it. So to answer your question, not really, no.
You obviously always want to end in the end zone with an offensive drive, but how big a weapon is
In
Logan?
every drive on a kick.
Okay, and that leads me to my question.
It can even be a punt.
Yeah.
Just don't turn it over, right?
Logan Ward has really turned into a weapon for you. How, as an offensive coordinator, how does it feel when you know you have that in your back pocket?
Who are you telling me?
Logan, the kicker.
Oh, yeah. Man, so one day I went up to him and I said, it's pretty simple. Just put it between the pipes. And he goes, that's pretty good, the pipes. And he says it to me every day. Like we do knuckles every day. And he just feels, to me, he feels like a lot more confident player. A lot more confident. And he's made some kicks, and he is a lot more confident. And it's been fun to be around him, watching him, because like in the spring, maybe not so much, camp, and then as soon as the season started, I just saw a different kid. And yeah, man, I like his attitude. I like how he is, and he's come through for us on some kicks. So yeah.
You being past the 5-game mark now, as far as the guys that are playing, do you feel like you're kind of set now with, the portal's still open for a couple more weeks, but do you feel like you're kind of past all of that wave now?
I would say so, yeah. And it's not something I'm just obsessing over. It is what it is, and what happens happens. Because if you get into that game, you're just going to drive yourself crazy. Unfortunately, as 18, 19, and 20-year-olds, there are people outside of these walls that give them a lot of advice. And sometimes those people don't really necessarily know what's good and bad. And how much of that you can control? This much. So if you want to worry about that, you probably won't ever come up with a game plan, you know what I mean? So whoever's here, we're here. We're here for you. We're going to encourage you and prepare you. And I think a lot of the kids are kind of bought into that. And like I said, I think that is probably behind us, but you never know for sure what could occur with all that's out there now, But we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to keep fighting.
We talk about first down offense. What about the opportunity to just try to play with the lead? It hadn't happened since game one. How big would that be, just to put pressure on the other team, give you guys some confidence in a game?
Shoot, it may make me nervous. We got a lead. No. Playing with house money's kind of what you want, right? I don't know if you ever sat at a blackjack table up $2,000. It's pretty fun. You know what I mean? I've sat at a few down $2,000. That's not fun. So, but yeah, I think that would be I think once we get to that point and we are ahead in a game, I think you'll see an explosion on our side. I think you'll see guys that'll won't let it go. You know, once we get there.
I haven't heard what the attendance is going to be as far as former players, but this is a reunion weekend. 2015 teams being honored. You weren't, I don't think, a part of that, but you're a former player here. I mean, obviously, you'd like to put a good product out there for the guys that are coming back.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, but I'd like to put a good product out there for our team, you know, as much as anything. And I'm quite sure I'll get some plays drawn up and sent to me once those guys show up. And I've had some good emails, by the way, some double reverse passes and some really good play work. People have drawn. I think one guy drew like with crayons or something. But yeah, you want to win for them when they're back and make them feel good. Want to keep coming back, you know. And because anytime you come to Stillwater and went to school here, you come back here and it's just complete nostalgia, you know. And yeah, I remember we did that and this thing and that party and all this stuff. Remember that time we did this and remember that practice and da-da-da. So you'd like to win a game and let them have all that as well. And yeah, that's important too. But ultimately, you just want to win just because, you know.
Thanks, guys.
Good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.